He thought he'd scam me with $50,000. My plan made him a fool. I'm Nathan, 35, a small business owner running a custom furniture shop in a quiet town. My life was steady, a modest house, a growing business, and Greg, my best friend since high school. We'd been through everything together. In our senior year, when my dad lost his job, Greg snuck me into his family's diner for free burgers, joking we'd both be millionaires someday. We'd stay up late, sketching business plans on napkins, dreaming of owning our own companies. Greg was the dreamer, always in flashy clothes, promising beach houses and fast cars. I was the practical one, saving every penny. When we started our businesses, my furniture shop, his car detailing service, we toasted to making it big. I trusted him like a brother. That was my first mistake. 3 years ago, Greg showed up at my shop one rainy evening, looking broken. "Nathan, I'm in deep trouble, Hashim," he said, slumping into a chair I'd carved myself. "Bad investments, a loan shark on my tail. I need $50,000 to save my business, or I'm done." He spun a tale about a supplier who cheated him and clients who ghosted payments. "6 months, I'll pay you back with 10% interest, he swore, gripping my hand. That $50,000 was half my savings, money I'd saved for a new workshop. My wife, Clara, urged caution. "He's always been flashy, Nathan." "Are you sure?" But Greg was family. I wrote him a check, sealed with a handshake. "You're a lifesaver," he said, his voice breaking. 6 months passed, no repayment. I called, texted, stopped by his shop. Greg had excuses. "Business is slow. Give me a month." Then he stopped answering. I drive by his shop, finding it closed, lights off. One evening, scrolling through social media, I saw Greg's post a shiny red sports car, him grinning on a Miami beach, captioned, "Living the Dream." My stomach churned. Was this the guy who said he was broke? Clara sat beside me, her hand on mine. "He's playing you, Nathan," she said. The betrayal hit like a punch. 20 years of friendship, had it all been a lie? I confronted Greg at his shop a week later. The place was thriving, new equipment, busy staff, a neon sign flashing his name. He leaned back in his chair, smirking. "Relax, Nathan," he said, tossing a pen. "You'll get your money when I'm ready." Don't make this weird. That smirk, so cruel, cut through 20 years of trust. I saw flashes of our past. Greg borrowing my notes in school, never returning them, dodging bar tabs with a grin. The signs were there, but I'd been blind. I didn't yell. I went home and started digging. Bank records showed the $50,000 went to Greg's personal account, $20,000 for credit cards, $15,000 for a boat loan, $10,000 for that sports car. No loan shark, just a scam. I kept every text, every email promising repayment by next quarter. Clara watched me, her eyes steady. "He underestimated you," she said. "Make him regret it." I hired Claire, a private investigator, with a $5,000 loan against my shop. She was a former fraud detective, sharp as a tack. Within days, she uncovered Greg's web of lies. He'd scammed others. $20,000 from his cousin Lisa, $15,000 from a client, Tom, and $30,000 from his landlord, Mr. Patel, all with the same sob story. He owed over $120,000, living large while we suffered. Claire found fake invoices for consulting services and a shell company hiding his cash. He was dodging taxes, underreporting income by $40,000 a year. I met Lisa at a diner. "He said he'd double my money," she said, showing a fake contract for a shop expansion. Her voice shook. "That was my kid's college fund, Nathan." He knew her anger mirrored mine. I called Tom, who'd lent Greg $15,000 for a new machine. "I saw him driving that sports car the next week," Tom said bitterly. We formed a group, pooling evidence. Bank statements, texts, forged contracts. Claire's next report was a bombshell. Greg planned to sell his shop for $300,000 and skip town. He texted a friend, "Nathan's too soft to fight back. I'm set for life," that lit a fire in me. I met Mr. Patel, owed $18,000 in rent. I showed him Claire's evidence, including Greg's plan to flee. "That snake," he said, slamming his fist. He filed for eviction, locking Greg out within days. Greg's plan was unraveling, but I wanted more. He'd built his business on trust his clients, his community. I'd take that away. Greg was a member of the local business association, giving him contracts and credibility. I compiled a 40-page dossier, every scam, every stolen dollar, and sent it to the president, Ellen. "This is disgusting," she said, flipping through the pages. Greg's membership was revoked, and he was blacklisted. Clients canceled, leaving one-star reviews calling him a fraud. His shop's Yelp page became a graveyard of complaints. "Scammer! Don't trust him." Claire found Greg's shell company linked to an offshore account with $80,000 in untaxed income. I sent an anonymous tip to the tax authorities with bank records. Within 48 hours, they froze his accounts. Greg called, panicking. "Nathan, I'll pay you back. Stop this." I hung up. He didn't deserve my words. I wasn't done. I hired a lawyer, Ms. Carter, to sue Greg for the $50,000. She found a loophole in his shell company's records, tying his sports car and boat to my loan. We filed a lien, forcing him to liquidate assets to settle debts. The court hearing was brutal. Greg tried to play the victim, but Ms. Carter presented our dossier, texts, invoices, bank records. The judge ordered him to repay me $50,000 in full, plus $5,000 in damages. I got every penny back, wired to my account within weeks. The final blow came at the town's business expo, where Greg was pitching his shop for a $200,000 deal, lying about profits. I coordinated with Lisa, Tom, and Mr. Patel. We spent hours planning, ensuring every detail was perfect. We arrived at the expo, blending into the crowd of suits. Greg took the stage, all charm, spinning tales of his booming business. We handed out 100 flyers, his scams, debts, lies, all exposed. A woman in the front row, an investor, held up a flyer. "Is this true?" she asked. Greg's smile faltered. "It's a misunderstanding," he stammered, but investors stood up and walked away. I stepped forward, locking eyes with him. "You thought you'd scam me, Greg," I said calmly. "You were wrong." He fled the stage, the room buzzing with whispers. "That's the guy who scammed everyone." The fallout was glorious. Greg's shop closed within weeks. His sports car and boat were repossessed. His beach house lease canceled. A $75,000 tax fine hit, and lawsuits from Lisa, Tom, and others piled up. The local paper ran a front-page story, "Local businessman exposed as fraud." Social media exploded with memes. Greg the scammer trended in our town's group chats. At a community barbecue, I overheard people laughing. "Remember Greg? Thought he was untouchable. Now he's a joke." Lisa hugged me, tears in her eyes. "You gave us justice, Nathan," she said. Tom shook my hand, saying, "I got my $15,000 back because of you." Greg tried one last move. A month later, he showed up at my shop, disheveled, begging. "Nathan, I'm sorry," he said, voice cracking. "I'll do anything, please help me." I looked at him, the guy who'd been my brother, now a stranger. "You made your choices, Greg," I said, closing the door. He stood there defeated as Clara watched from inside. "He's nothing now," she said, squeezing my hand. Today my furniture shop is thriving. I built that new workshop, hired 3 craftsmen, and started teaching woodworking classes to kids. The local school invited me to speak about entrepreneurship, and I shared my story minus the gory details. Greg's selling used cars, dodging glares from old neighbors. His name's a punchline at every local event. Trust is fragile. He broke mine, but I turned his lies into a lesson he'll never forget.